Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics, and today we're going to be answering a question I've seen before, and that is, what happened to my missing fish? So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We do a lot of videos on water parameters, fish tank filtration, species profiles, fish room tours, fish store tours. We've got 60 tanks in our fish room, which means we've always got something going on. So it's a really bad feeling when you walk by your fish tank and you find out one of your fish are missing. What do? Well, I think the first thing, the most obvious thing is make sure it's not hiding in a cave structure or behind some type of plant or something. I've actually done a video on why fish hide. I'm going to put that in the upper right hand corner as well as in the description below. Highly recommend, if you've got a problem with fish hiding, check out that video. We go over a lot of different reasons why they could hide and how to bring them out a little bit more. The second thing you're going to want to do is look around the tank, especially if you have sand. Make sure the fish isn't burrowing in the sand. This is especially true for some loaches. So if you can't find them hiding behind a rock or a cave or behind a plant, make sure they're not actually buried in the sand itself. The next place I generally look, and this is going to sound a little bit strange, in the filter. If you're using a hang on the back filter or maybe a sump, I've seen fish go back there before. We've had some small fish, some small plecos that wind up behind in the hang on back filter behind the tank. Still alive, still doing fine. Other fish sometimes will like the return of a hang on back filter and all that flow, and sometimes they'll actually jump towards that flow and wind up in the hang on back filter as well. The next thing we're looking for, unfortunately, is the fish that jump out of the tank. And usually there's a couple places I like to look. Obviously the floor, but look on top of the tank itself, around the fish tank lids, behind the fish tank. One thing to keep in mind, if your fish has jumped out of the tank and it is all still moist or sticky, try to put the fish back in the tank, maybe in a breeder box, maybe in a net. You would be surprised how long some fish can live outside of a tank. And I've often found if they're still a little bit wet, there's a very good chance they might be able to be revived. Now there could be other reasons why your fish are missing. If you bought really small fish and you have larger fish in the tank, they could have gotten eaten. This is especially true when you first bring home some fish. Sometimes fish will look bigger at the pet store, and then you bring them home to your full-size fish and like, ooh boy, I didn't realize how small these fish were when I bought them at the store. And so maybe like some small neons, some small tetras, and you find out, you wake up the next day, you've got a few missing. There's a chance they could have been eaten by larger fish. A lot of times fish, as long as they can fit smaller fish in their mouth, they might try to go after them and have a snack. And of course, sometimes your fish go missing and you never find them. This can be especially true if they die and you've got scavenger fish in your fish tank. Things like bristlenose plecos, any type of pleco really, catfish, snails. One of the things they do is they scavenge for food on the bottom of the tank. And when fish die, they will often surround that fish and eat it. Sometimes if that fish is small enough, you'll never find it. In our fish room, really the only time we find dead fish is when they're on the larger side, but smaller fish, when they die, we almost never know it because the snails or the bristlenose plecos that we have in a lot of our tanks, they consume those fish before we have an opportunity to realize that they're gone. So I know missing fish can be stressful. Hopefully this video helps you out a little bit. Start looking inside the tank, behind your decorations, in the substrate. Look in your hang on the back filter, your sumps if you're running those, and then start checking around the tank. On the lids, behind the tank, under the fish tank stand. Again, if they're just a little bit wet, try to get them back in the tank, see if they can be revived. Chances are, outside of those things, if you can't find them, they may have been eaten by some of your scavenger fish. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.